Growing up, Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and 3 were a big part of my childhood. I spent countless days playing hostage in a town with my father. I remember it was so excited playing with him on that game. Heroes didn't disappoint us. You know, back in the days, there was no internet, no strategy guidelines, not even a full understanding of some of the mechanics works in the game. But it was a blast. I also had a really good time with my friends in my childhood because I invited them over and playing on the same computer. We rotated turns. When I think back, it doesn't quite make sense because we could see each other under the fog. But back then, it was all just about the thrill of the game. I think it's a mix of the melancholy and the nostalgia. It reminds me of the time when life was not overly complicated. I wasn't an adult I am now, but a girl with the eyes brimming with hope and a little bit of naivete. I miss those days, but I appreciate them more. This was my very first PC games that I have ever played. I've played so many games since, like thousands of games since. But Heroes of Might and Magic was the one that truly sparked my gaming passion. It is not just a game. It's a part of my journey, the start point of the journey, and that's what I want to share with you today. Let's start from the beginning, from Might and Magic to Heroes of Might and Magic. The origins of Heroes of Might and Magic was from a small game studio called New World Computing, or NWC for short. It was founded in 1984 by John Van Caneghem, his wife Michaela, and their buddy Mark. They were total Dungeons & Dragons nerds, so it's no surprise that their first big hit, Might and Magic, was a classic D&D style RPG. It did pretty well, but it lacked that extra oomph to really make it stand out. So, NWC decided to try something new. King's Bounty was published in 1990. This game was older than me. This game is a turn-based fantasy video game. It is like a mix of RPG vibes with army management. So the King's Bounty planted the seed for something huge, and it is an older game that inspired the Heroes of Might and Magic games. John said that King's Bounty gave him the idea for it. You can find all successors on Steam if you want to give them a try. Later on, in the year 1995, Michaela pushed John to bring back the strategy, but this time with more depth and flavor. And that's when Heroes of Might and Magic was born, mixing RPG adventure with turn-based strategy. The rest? Absolute legend. Gameplay. Why it is so addictive. In the game of Heroes of Magic, you are not just battling the enemies, you also do exploring, building towns, managing resources, and learning spells. You can do so many things in the game. With different factions, heroes, spells, and units to choose from, Heroes offers endless strategies to explore. Every decision matters. From building your town to selecting units and casting spells, there's always a plan to craft. If this video hits 100 likes, I'll dive deeper into the gameplay of the Heroes series in another video, so stay tuned. First, let's talk about the best, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. This game was originally released for PC Windows on March 3, 1999. An Apple Macintosh port was released by 3DO, and a Linux port was released by Loki Software, both in late December that year. It's a game that defined many childhoods, and it was the kind of game you could play for hundreds of hours without getting bored. It took everything that made the first two games great. To me, it had a very good balance between races and units. It was just a very polished version of the first two, and with high resolution, the 2D graphics were gorgeous, with hand-painted maps and an unforgettable soundtrack. The game was challenging but wasn't completely out of reach. It had 7 factions, each with its own campaign, over 70 units, and an expanded skill system for heroes. it makes the game endlessly replayable till today. Fans are still discussing Heroes 3's strategies and hidden secrets on forums today. So, what happened to Heroes 4? Things took a turn with Heroes 4. After Heroes 3's success, NWC was bought by 3DO on July 10, 1996. 3DO didn't give NWC the budget to make it happen. Heroes 4 introduced some bold ideas, like having heroes fight directly in battles, but it ended up breaking the game's balance. A large portion of its staff was laid off in April 2002. The following year, 3DO filed for bankruptcy. Then, NWC's had its closure in 2003. Throughout its operational years, NWC was credited on 53 games from 1986 to 2015. It was a sad ending for a studio that had given us so many great memories. In 2006, Ubisoft picked up the pieces and launched Heroes 5. It was the first 3D entry in the series. It had bugs, but it managed to capture that classic Heroes magic in a new, modern form. The nostalgic gameplay mixed with updated visuals was enough to please both old and new fans alike. But Ubisoft didn't stop there. With Heroes 6, they tried to innovate by overhauling the mechanics, but it ended up confusing the old players while failing to attract enough new ones. Heroes of Might and Magic 7 is the latest mainline entry in the series. It was released in 2015. The game's reception was mixed, with criticisms focusing on technical issues, bugs, and perceived lack of innovation. Ubisoft announced Heroes of Might and Magic Oden Era, the 8th mainline game in the series. In an official statement, Ubisoft promised that the new strategy game will stay true to the franchise's roots while incorporating modern features that appeal to veterans and newcomers. In a nutshell, Heroes of Might and Magic is a unique series. It has seen both successful entries that remain beloved by players to this day, and less successful ones where the publisher decided to cut corners. So here's where I stand. Heroes of Might and Magic is still one of my all-time favorite series. The reason that this game is still popular for so many years is because there are so many ways to enjoy it. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'm Ellie, and my channel is all about my reviews on games and tech. Please subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.